You're watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to discuss and review Wandavision. Now, I watched Wandavision last Friday upon its debut on Disney Plus, and I've heard a lot of things about the show, a lot of people giving their opinions, and the general consensus seems to be that there's people who really love it, and there's some people who don't. And that's understandable. One thing I got to say right away about the show is I love Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen in the show. You can tell they're having a lot of fun. They're putting on great performances. And that, if nothing else, was enjoyable to watch. Now, what I will say about this show is, I don't want to say it's hard to review. It just, the first two episodes are basically a sitcom set in a time period. And we know that, at least it was confirmed somewhat, that the show, each episode will kind of visit different time periods. So like, it seems like they start off in the 50s. The episodes 2 seem to be in the 60s, and maybe the next one's in the 70s. And I think if you're someone who has been watching and been sticking with the Marvel Universe from day one to now, this is fine. You're watching this, you're thinking, yeah, this is great. I get to see Vision and Wanda, and there's a payoff. Something's happening. If you're someone who, due to the pandemic, that never watched anything Marvel related and decided that you're going to get into the Marvel Universe now, I'm home a lot, I got Disney Plus, let's see what the big craze is about this Marvel. And you start with this show, you don't know what the hell's going on. The show heavily relies on your knowledge of prior happenings in the Marvel Universe. And that's kind of an issue, Now, most people, a great majority of people, are going to know. People are going to know that something's going to happen here. They know that the show is not going to be a constant half-hour sitcom where Wanda and Vision are just kind of trying to fit into their neighborhood with their neighbors. But again, that is an issue. That is a critique that I think it deserves, even as someone who knows something's going to come, because the episodes in and of themselves, while the performances are great, there's really what it's lacking is, outside of Wanda and Vision, it's lacking any kind of character interaction that has any kind of meaning or definition. In other words, like when Wanda and Vision interact with, for example, their neighbors, or in Vision's case, his boss, and there's really nothing meaningful happening. It's just kind of playing out like a regular half-hour old sitcom, like I Love Lucy, for example. The Wanda's neighbor comes by and might give her some advice on dinner, or it's just, it all is just meaningless. There's, for example, there's no one in their world right now that they can link with that has a connection to what's to come. And there is something coming. There are indications of that throughout the first two episodes. There are indications that something's happening, but there's not enough context there to carry someone who may not be as familiar. There's not even enough context there if you are someone familiar. You just know something's going to happen. You don't know what it is. You don't know what it's building up to. You just know that something's happening. And because of your knowledge of the Marvel Universe, because you know that the Marvel Universe is known for their surprises and their big reveals and things like that, you're going to wait it out. You're going to be patient with it. So, the show, we'll see what happens next episode. Again, if you're in the Marvel Universe and you've been paying attention, then you're going to wait this out. I know I am. And did I have fun with the first two episodes? Sure, of course I did. I think, if nothing else, Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen carry the show right now, because outside of them, there's really nothing else to bring into it. It's just about them, their quirkiness. There's this little funny things that do happen. For example, there's one episode, or I think it was the second episode, where Vision, who doesn't eat, he chews a gum and swallows it, and they give you like this very 50s cartoonish image of his stomach, and you see these gears turning, and they get stuck by the gum, and because they get stuck, he kind of starts going loopy. Again, fun. Definitely funny, a great performance by Paul Bettany during that time. But again, that's all it is. If you come in watching the show with no knowledge of the Marvel Universe, to you, it is just 2 episodes of something similar to I Love Lucy with some oddities in between. And the oddities are few and far between. You know, there's one scene in particular that Wanda is out having like a meeting with some of the females in the neighborhood, and the radio goes off or something like that and says, Wanda, Wanda, but something like that only happens in these 2 episodes, maybe once each episode. And then episode 2 had, I guess if you want to call it, a bigger ending where Wanda's outside and somebody comes out of a manhole and looks like he's in a bee out. Again, if you're a Marvel fan, you know that this is all going to lead to something. This is all going to climax to something. So you're going to wait it out naturally because you want to see where this is going to go. If you're a new viewer or someone not as familiar with the universe and the lore, you're going to kind of be thrown for a loop. And I do think that that is something worth criticizing for the show. It doesn't give them an opportunity to bring in new viewers. You pretty much have to know who these characters are prior to going in. And if you're going to go through the universe to find that out, you're going to wait a while because, Vision and Wanda don't come in until Age of Ultron. And that's already 2 Iron Man movies, Avengers, 1 Captain America, and that's 5 movies, I believe, or 6 movies before you get to Age of Ultron. So you got to sit through at least 12 hours of Marvel content before you're even introduced to Wanda and Vision. And then on top of that, you kind of got to see where their characters go within the universe to learn more about them. So now you're talking about Age of Ultron. You're talking about Winter Soldier, the list goes. Civil War, Civil War, not Winter Soldier. You're talking about Civil War. You're also talking about, both last Avengers movies. I mean, it's a lot to take in before you have an idea of what these characters are about and what they might be going through. And even then, there is no clear anything these first 2 episodes. You just know something's going to happen. But you know that because you're in the Marvel Universe, you know there's going to be a payoff. So, it's interesting. I mean, obviously, I'm intrigued because I do know what's going on in the universe. So I want to see where this goes and where it ends up. And I kind of have a feeling where they're going in the bigger picture. My early prediction is that this is a very early setup for what will eventually become House of M. Considering that the Marvel Studios has the X-Men now, House of M was a very big storyline in the comics that involved Scarlet Witch, who is Wanda Maximoff. And I kind of think they're planting the seeds for House of M early. That's just a wild guess on my part, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, let me know what you thought about WandaVision in the comments section. I'm curious to see what your thoughts are. And we'll do another review of the next episode when it drops. Until then, this is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.